started with a question. How many native use cases do you think Bitcoin currently has? 0, 1, 2. 2 once, twice, 3. Sold. Okay, so this is actually a very hard to answer question because it is not clear what does a native use case mean. Okay? So before I answer this question, I would like to first address the definition of native use case. And this will be the main topic of my keynote. It will not be too long. I will not talk about deep tech, but I would like to share with you something very simple, but very solid. Okay? Now imagine you are a Bitcoin holder. What can you do with your Bitcoin? Okay? You can always just hold it for generations, holding. You can make simple payment with it. Not many people are using it for payment at the moment. Or there's a big sector called lending where you lend your Bitcoin to someone else and wish for some yield. Okay? The last one is called bridging. You bridge your Bitcoin to a smarter chain or a roll-up and use the bridged Bitcoin, like synthetic Bitcoin, WBTC, TBTC, using those synthetic Bitcoins for smarter things like DeFi. Okay? So now, look, so these are the 4 broad categories of the Bitcoin current use cases. Now, do you think all these use cases are equal? Are they the same? Are they? Yeah, they are not, right? There's something different between them. And what is the difference? The difference is as follows. If you look at the first 2 use cases, holding and payment, these 2 use cases are safe to use as long as 2 assumptions are achieved. First, Bitcoin is safe and live. Okay. Anyone in the room doesn't agree with this assumption? Anyone think Bitcoin is not safe? Not many, right? Okay, then we have a consensus. And second, you, as the Bitcoin holder who use this, is honest. Anyone feel themselves is not honest? No one, right? So these 2, holding and payment, they are native use cases of Bitcoin because its security only relies on Bitcoin itself and you as the holder, nothing else, pure. However, if you do lending or bridging, then you introduce some extra trust assumption. For example, if you lend it, so you mean you give your Bitcoin to the borrower, and if the borrower decides to default, then you won't get the Bitcoin back. You might get some altcoin or some other collateral back, but your Bitcoin is gone. So you need to trust the borrower that they will give you Bitcoin back. Okay? If you use bridge, whether it is MPC bridge, threshold signature bridge, or multi-sig bridge, whatever bridge, you need to trust the team behind the bridge. Also, you need to trust the smarter chain that the Bitcoin is bridged to, because if the destination chain is compromised, then your liquid token or bridge token there will be gone. Then you will never get your Bitcoin back. Okay? So lending and bridging, they are not native use cases of Bitcoin because of this tiny one-line trust assumption. Okay? These are foreign use cases of Bitcoin. So to answer my question in the title, there are, yes, only 2 native use cases of Bitcoin. Before bubbling, of course. Now, next, think about that. Okay, Bitcoin only have 2 native use cases. What about other crypto assets in the world? How many do they have? Of course, any token can be held, any token can be used for payment, but for most of other crypto assets, there's something called staking, because most of the systems, the networks, are proof of stake or proof of stake-like systems. Okay? So a third native use case of most of cryptocurrencies is staking. Staking means you lock your crypto asset in a certain way to provide economic security of the proof of stake system. And in return, for the security you provide, the proof of stake system will use its inflation and transaction fee as a payment for the security you provide. Okay? So staking means lock your token, provide security, and then earn staking reward, earn yield. So yeah, that's the 3 native use cases of almost every single token except Bitcoin. Okay? Now, what if Bitcoin becomes stakeable? Is it a good thing or bad thing? Will it eat into the existing use cases of Bitcoin? The answer is no, because think about it. What's the biggest use case of Bitcoin right now? Holding, right? Hold it. Staking resonates perfectly with holding, because staking means you lock your token, you don't move it around. You earn passive staking reward by just holding it. Okay? So yeah, staking is a perfect mate of the current use cases of Bitcoin. Cool. Then the next question is Bitcoin stakeable? Can we turn Bitcoin into a stakeable asset? The answer is maybe. So in order to see whether Bitcoin becomes stakeable or not, we should first define what that staking means. Okay? There are many variations of staking protocols, but we believe what we list here are the right definition of staking. Here you can see 6 properties or 6 features. The top 3 are the definitive features of a staking asset. The bottom 3 are nice to have ones that make a staking asset or staking protocol practical. Okay. First line, slashable. To many people, slashable is a very scary word. But for the validator people here, any validators? I guess you guys are familiar with slashing, right? Yeah, you fight against it all the time to make sure no slashing happens, right? But slashing is needed. The slashing mechanism is needed to make POS meaningful, because why POS is secure? It is because you lock your token there. If you attack the system, your token can actually get slashed. So this serves as the economical deterrence against the stakers. So slashing is absolutely needed for a staking asset. Any staking protocol that does not offer slashing, it is fake staking. Okay? So slashing. Then goes hand by hand with slashing is something called locking. Locking means your token is locked there. Otherwise, if the token is not locked, you can attack the chain and run away with your staking asset. So slashing and locking. The third one is called unstakeable. Means if you are done with staking, you can always get your staking asset back by doing unstaking. You are not locked your token layer forever. Okay. These are the 3 definitive features. Then we have very nice to have features. Again, validator friends, the first one is something that you love. Delegatable. That means you as a staker, you don't have to run the validation infrastructure by yourself. Especially if you are a small staker, you only have, say, a few $100s to stake. It doesn't make sense for you to run a $1,000 a month infrastructure by yourself. The better thing to do is to delegate your validation power to a professional validators, such as everyone here, right? Something very important is that delegation doesn't mean you transfer your token, okay? Your token is not transferred. Only the voting power and the consequence of slashing is delegated to the validator, okay? So delegation is very nice to have. Next is called partial slashing. When slashing happens, the protocol should be able to allow only a portion of the stake to be slashed. For example, in ETH, currently only 1 out of 32 get slashed. So slashing ratio is like 3%-ish. For most Cosmos chains, the slashing ratio is like 5 to 10%. It's not like 100% always gets slashed. So this will really help people to be more comfortable to participate in any new staking protocol. Last one very juicy, is called restakeable. Restakeable or restaking means you have one token, okay? You can stake it to multiple POS systems and earn multiple rewards instead of just one token, one proof of stake system. So this will allow your token to work multiple full-time jobs and earn income for you. Okay? So slashable, lock, unstakeable, these are the definitive features. Delegatable, partial slashing, and restaking make a staking protocol practical. These are the 6 properties. So before Babylon, there are already other projects try to do Bitcoin staking, but what they do is to first, most of them, they have to bridge Bitcoin to a smarter chain and use the infected Bitcoin there as the staking asset. So as we just established earlier, this is not trustless. This is not native. Okay. So what Babylon does is to use advanced cryptography and Bitcoin's built-in scripting language, the opcode in Bitcoin, to construct Bitcoin staking contract on the Bitcoin chain. Slashing and things will only happen if the staker itself participates in attack to the proof of stake systems. Otherwise, the staked Bitcoin is secure. Okay. So, Bitcoin staking. So Babylon introduced the 3rd native use case of Bitcoin, which is stake, secure, and earn. Yeah, and that's it. Oh, a small slide about Babylon mainnet launch. We launched our phase 1 mainnet by accepting 1,000 Bitcoins. The cap is filled in 6 blocks and caused a huge gas war and make a lot of news. And we attracted more than 12K stakers and more than 20K delegations. Yeah, the total transaction fees for these 5 blocks like more than 50 Bitcoins. Yeah. Any validators here are also Bitcoin miners? No? Okay. Yeah, so a one-liner takeaway. Babylon Bitcoin staking introduces the 3rd native use case of Bitcoin. Thank you very much.